Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Lime Joint Podcast. I am your host, Hector, and with me are John, Ace.
I'm your host too. My name is Ace. What's up?
You're not a host. And our very special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Meso. No.
No, you're not. You're Kopaka and Eco122.
Oh yeah, you're right. Hey guys, my name's Kopaka and Eco122, and I'm like the biggest fan. Thanks for having me on again after the last time. I'm really looking forward to.
Hey guys, it's me, Eljay, back at you to talk about red pins and blue axle. Shit, it's the other way around.
Red pins.
Whatever. They're gonna come around someday.
Yeah, I'm Meso from TTV. How you guys doing, buddy? Go!
I'm great.
Yeah, let me get a boneless miso.
Don't you say that name again.
So yeah, hey man, how's life and such? See, I stole your thing.
Not good at the moment. I apologize to any listeners who might think I'm like an annoying piece of trash after listening to this episode. I have been awake for 31 hours. I'm essentially wired on as much caffeine as I could possibly have. I blacked out for like half an hour earlier.
Holy
That's
shit.
about the only bit of rest I've got. I'm kind of a psychopath. I stayed up all night playing Minecraft. I didn't even do anything productive.
Oh, Minecraft. Have you heard of the Biocraft server?
Oh no, I haven't. I'm gonna have to check that out.
This 1-to-1 scale accurate Matanui map.
That's awesome, dude.
You know they're coming out with a Minecraft 2?
I hope so. Is it HD?
No, they're not, because Kahi stole it.
Oh boy. So essentially, I'm gonna try to be as coherent as possible, but I'm sorry if I'm not.
So yeah, man, what's up? I had you scheduled to be on here for like a month, and boy, I had no idea like all the stuff that would happen.
It's been a month, all right. Suffice to say, I'm glad I'm on now instead of then. There's more to talk about. Yeah, it's been a time of things to be a guy actually in TTV. It's been kind of a tumultuous time.
What are you
So I
saying?
hear.
There's something
So I hear.
going on TTV? No way.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of stuff going on.
Before we get into TTV, actually, do you guys want to talk a little bit about the Bionicle G3 rumors?
Oh yeah, they're real, guys. Trust me. I saw them on an anonymous image board with no source, so they're real.
If you want,
oh, go on. You go on.
no, sorry.
Okay, fine. I'll go on. So yeah, because it was on Brickset, right?
Yeah.
Mankind has no control over what goes on Brickset, okay? Everything is put in there from some sort of divine deity that leaks all of these Lego sets, so it must be true.
I mean,
Well,
historically, you're not wrong.
in the
Exactly.
history I've had with Brickset, it's not like a site like Wikipedia, some random like Joe Schmo can just go on and like edit. There are a select group of people, I think 11 in total, that have editing power over Brickset, and those people are typically in the know when it comes to new sets, whether they have the catalogs or not. I don't know, but there have been times in the past where we've learned about stuff because it broke on Brickset.
There's plenty of times that people don't remember where things go south, right?
I'm sure you're right. Everybody remembers the good times.
Yeah, exactly.
So essentially what's happened is when you Google Bionicle 2019, you will see two things. You'll see a page on Brickset that just says Bionicle 2019. And that's just like a
Reboot
placeholder.
2019.
That's just a placeholder that doesn't mean anything. There's a second URL that shows up, Bionicle Reboot 2019. And that's got everyone speculating because that's a very specific word choice that would have probably had to be added in manually. But I don't really think it means anything. My personal headcanon is it's an early April Fool's joke. But
Or it's Volectorlorb.
Oh,
I don't know how the fuck you say that. Voloctoreb. There you go.
What is Veloctor whatever?
It's a fake rumor. That's it.
It's as legitimate as this 2019 bullshit.
I guess you're
basically.
right. Essentially, there's like nothing to Veloctoreb. It just like spawned out of nowhere.
Well, there's that
like,
one
oh,
set
shit.
picture.
Oh yeah, you're right. My
wait,
bad. I forgot. That has been leaked.
Whoa.
Nexonical Hero Rider Veloctoreb.
Yeah, see? It's right there.
Oh god, but yeah,
I can't wait.
man.
No one on Brickset would want to mess with us. Of course not. I know we all want to believe, but come on.
I don't want to believe. I don't want Bionicle to come back.
Yeah. Something that's really interesting is that someone posted this to the mask posting server the other day, and everyone was like, "No, God, please, no."
We're too jaded. It's been too soon since G2. That's the problem. If Lego brought back Bionicle now, how would they have had time to learn?
Well, that's the reasoning is like, oh, they're doing this. They're regrouping right now. Lego's going to regroup and replan their strategy. It's like, why would they burn through millions of dollars half-assing G2 then? If they're just going to
because
regroup.
Disney finally let them do it again.
Oh, fuck off.
I think it's not Disney. Come on. Like, you think anyone bought Star Wars CCBS other than us for some fucking reason?
There's one possibility, and it's a friggin' joke I said on the TTV podcast, and that is if Lego realized how screwed up G2 was, like the moment they put it out, and they were like, oh, the animations were a really bad idea. Let's take it off shelves before we damage the brand forever. So they immediately cancel things like the second they put it out for people to buy, and then regroup over the next 2 years. It's ludicrous, but that's the only way it could work.
Well, the thing is, the toys are really good, but the lore behind it is just so banal and uninteresting.
Mm-hmm. Well, like,
And the
thing
lack
is,
of unique parts, too.
Like, I don't believe in the leak, but I definitely don't agree with the whole, with the whole April Fool's joke explanation, because, like, you wouldn't roll out a change like that onto your website this early before the April Fool's joke. Like, you can, when you're updating a website, like, you can make your updates go live, like, day of.
Well, it's not actually on the website. That's the thing. If you try to look up Bionicle Reboot on Brickset, you won't find anything. The only reason this is even news is because it's a Google search result. And it's quite possible that they had like stuff planted on the website that people just found early. Like, I know that was the thing with the TTV April Fool's joke. We set stuff up in advance. It was kept secret, but like we had it on the servers ready to go. But you're right. It's a fair point. Maybe they would have waited closer to the actual date. I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite some time away, and there's still no like images or anything.
No.
At any rate, by the time this releases, No, never mind. April Fools would not have.
I'd hope it wouldn't be released in April. My God.
Yeah, I
there's still some
completely
time
skipped
yet.
over a week there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Man, I wish I could skip over a week.
Yeah, let's go to 2019 and see what happens. Maybe Bionicle's there waiting for us, and maybe it's worse than G2. Or it's system based. How about that? That's a good idea. That's a great idea. And Lewa is going to be a girl too.
Okay. Hey now.
but yeah, TTV, how's that going for you?
I mean, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, the current direction of things, does it suck to have had like all this behind the scenes unpleasantness? Yes. But I've never felt better about the future than I have since G2 first got announced. I'm feeling really good about things, to be honest. I'm hoping that will be.
It must feel like you dragged an anchor off a cliff and dropped it, I'd imagine. A kind of relief, right?
Well, it's like, I mean, we mentioned this in the video where Var and I were talking about it. For the longest time, we didn't know we were unhappy. It's not like we just woke up one day and we're like, all right, so today we're going to flip the switch and we're going to become corporate shills who just like do freaking clickbait titles and everything. And we're going to like not enjoy it anymore. It was a gradual creep that none of us really realized until it hit us like a ton of bricks. And it does feel very refreshing to have just came out and been like, yeah, we screwed up. Here's what we're going to do better and actually mean it. And hopefully it'll work. I don't know. We might fall flat on our face, but
yeah,
I'm feeling great.
If you fall flat on your face, at least you're going to have fun doing it, you know?
Yeah, if you guys are having fun and there's passion behind it, at least it should appeal to a lot of people and seem more genuine too, right?
Totally. And if we fail, then we'll be like the friggin' room of Bionicle and people can laugh at us for being so bad. That'll be great too. Whatever makes people happy.
Well, you might already be there, but
you're right.
Neither here or there.
Wow, TTV trying to take the title of the room of Bionicle away from...
I'm just saying it can happen. But you're right. Bionicle Revolution is a special case.
What a fucking shame that didn't come out. I wish people could have just shut their mouths and just not made fun of it until it came out. I know it's impossible, but
I'm
damn.
so upset.
I never even heard of it until it got canceled.
Have you seen that guy's other stuff? You know, like that fucking. There's like that fetish steampunk girl with the dreads, and she's like a Five Nights at Freddy's character. It's like
that blew up. He's actually gotten popular from that, if you can believe it. Like it's getting so many views.
I'm not a Hero Factory or a Bionicle. It's just like, what is this shit?
What the fuck is a Hero Factory? Yeah, I get you're not.
Another one bites the dust. It's a
dun, dun. Another one bites the dust.
God damn, what a shame.
That finally got re-uploaded, right?
Yeah, it did.
I think it did.
Awesome. I think all the trailers are fine, except for like the first one with Sidorak going like, "These terrorists, these Bionicle, I still think they have a chance."
My favorite part of the Bionicle Revolution trailer is like how different quality everything, all the mics are.
Oh yeah, isn't it like what was it, Vazok or whatever that has the worst mic ever?
Where? Who doesn't love a good war?
And now Furnos too.
Yeah,
I can't trust you. You're a Bionicle.
It's not Furno. It's not Furno. It's Jake.
No.
I think his name is Jake or Bio Hero. I don't know.
I think it's
good old Bio Hero. Because Rewire's that waifu fetish character, and yeah.
Peppermint hair, dude.
Rewire is XX
And she's like a cyborg, like a proper cyborg. It's
She's
just
a
really
Bionicle
creepy.
in the actual script. She's Prydak's daughter.
What?
What?
We read that for the channel. How did I miss
Did
that?
you guys not get that far? You were surprised that Prydak's her dad.
Oh, I vaguely remember this.
Because,
Why
like,
Prydak? He's
the
such
white
a nobody.
Because the white and the red, you know, it's like they have the same colors.
Why not Karika or whatever instead?
Dude, that's a really good.
Of all the people to make her the daughter of, why the fucking shark?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
We got Pride Daddy trending for a bit, like in our circles. It was
I
great.
love that while we were reading it, we were just like doing a normal voice for Prydek, and then suddenly we realized that he had an Australian accent.
It's incredible.
What?
Yeah.
Because I remember watching the behind the scenes for the Mask of Light movie, and they said they kind of went out of their way to have their own unique accents for the characters, and that's kind of neat. And then you have this schlock.
God.
Oh, he's just Australian.
The script reading was honestly the most fun I've had in a long time. This is a great old time.
Yeah. And I hear you guys are gonna do one for Mask of Light translated to Chinese.
And back to English, yes.
Oh,
That is
God.
going to happen. And it's going to be glorious.
Pokemon Viet Crystal, but Bionicle.
Oh,
You guys trying to steal our thunder with our Mask of Light fan dub, huh?
Oh, you guys did that? I didn't even know.
We're gonna do it. IC's in charge of that.
Well, who's going to get it out
Has
first?
he actually announced who's gonna be in that, or?
IC's been like really busy, so I gotta prod him to actually do that. So
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
fair. I just wanted to know if he was like planning on, if he had already done that, because I hadn't seen anything about it.
yeah, I'll have to talk to him about that. But anyway, you mentioned a while ago that you didn't decide like overnight that you were gonna become corporate shills and do like
Yeah.
the clickbaity titles and stuff. So I
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
get into that a little bit.
Okay, so I did listen to the last episode,
Mhm.
and I agree with a lot of the stuff you say. I think I can provide context for a lot more of the stuff. So let's do this. Let's do this.
I think we speculated in the past episode that a lot of the clickbaity thing and how the channel was managed in that sort of direction. We speculated that was like mostly John or Kahi pushing for that. So
Yes and no. It's a bit more complex. Full disclosure, I'm the one who manages uploading of videos and thumbnail creation and titles, but I do get ideas and feedback from everybody else in TTV. So I'm like, hey, what should I name this video? And they're like, do this, and then I'll do it, and I'll make the thumbnail or whatever.
So you're responsible for the Oranges Logan Paul thing then, okay.
Oh yeah, that's the one
Okay.
thing that I have deniability on, because I was actually moving at the time.
Oh, okay. You got an
That
alibi,
one was 100% John. And,
Oh.
Throw him right under that bus.
I mean, he's owned up to it, I think.
Typical Kopaka Nika.
Yeah, that's me. And essentially the reason why it was chosen was because the hats were similar to like what Logan Paul was wearing. That was the only reason.
Oh my god.
And like because we were talking about Logan Paul, I was not a fan personally. I was even less of a fan when I realized that Suddenly Oranges didn't like it. But I've apologized since, and I think he's cool.
Yeah,
but
we actually parodied it when we had oranges on. We had on our thumbnail we had good guy with Logan Paul's face in it.
That's great. Essentially,
yeah.
with the clickbait and stuff, like full disclosure, TTV, we're partnered with Fullscreen. There are like YouTube management. I don't know what the proper term is. Partner program,
affiliate, I guess.
Essentially, yeah. I'm blanking on the exact word, but we're affiliated with Fullscreen, and they have routine meetings with John, who is our point of contact, TTV, to essentially advise us on the changes that YouTube is making to their platform. So if YouTube changes something in the algorithm, the only way we will ever know is because of Fullscreen having a meeting with us and being like, hey, you guys should do this to do better. A lot of the changes we've made in the last year were a result of that. The clickbait titles, sure, but also more like minute stuff, like in the description doing check out the links to our latest videos or whatever, because if you put the tags in the description, then those get shown up in related videos, and having the end screen or whatever. So yes, it was primarily John, but he only really wanted to do it because of advice from Fullscreen.
Yeah, and actually, full disclosure here, we actually, I'm the one who manages all that stuff for our channel, and we actually do follow a lot of that. But I learned 99% of that from another podcast called the Procrastinators Podcast. And it's like a bunch of anime YouTubers. I don't really like them anymore.
A bunch of weebs.
All them weebs.
Yeah, but they made an episode called Selling Out, where they kind of explained all of that, like search engine optimization, and just basically it was gonna like talk about selling out, but it ended up becoming like a guide on how to sell out. So just mostly stuff like that, like do good thumbnails, do good titles, descriptions, tags, and stuff like that.
I despise YouTube. All the stuff you have to do, all the hoops you have to jump through just to get any views. That's why I liked Vessel so much. You just put your videos up. If people wanted to go see them, they saw them. There was no marketing minutia, no complex like algorithm changes. It was just very simple, very straightforward, and it was creator friendly too. But if you want to try to make it big on YouTube, you gotta like sell your soul. That's essentially what it is.
Well, even when you get big enough, you're still, there's that adpocalypse that happens. So it's basically a YouTube account and Patreon. Yeah, you could go with live streaming with the super chats, but if you say the wrong thing, you're gone. You can't stream for a few months and so on. It's a load of shit.
It's very hard to actually make it big on YouTube while also staying true to your initial goal at the same time.
And there wasn't enough of a push for like things like VidMe to work either. So I think it's just going to stick to YouTube. People are going to have to deal with the demonetization to whatever point it sucks, sure. But it's going to be just Patreon and YouTube, I think, in the future.
Yeah.
Money-wise, any sort of lucrative stuff from that.
You're right.
When it comes to our channel, I think I found like kind of a happy medium. We're really lucky because we have a pre-established audience with mask posting.
Yeah.
But I don't want to box myself in there because,
more like a captive audience.
It's stupid. So I do want to reach out to other audiences. So I do kind of want to not stick to that kind of thing, but kind of follow it, have a guideline so I can attract others. But I feel like I'm not really compromising stuff. Like I feel like that's the thing. You can quote unquote sell out without compromising.
I mean, listen, a little clickbait isn't bad. There were points where we did it as like a joke or because it worked for a certain video. The point where it started to get bad was when every single video was that way. You know what I mean? And like all the titles were like hyperbolic. They were like phrased just to like get clicks. All the thumbnails had like misleading. Well, I think most of our thumbnails are pretty true, but the style of them changed to attract views. But some of it is fine.
Yeah, didn't you guys have that little bit of drama where you changed the title and thumbnail of a video after release?
Yes. This is actually a big misunderstanding that I think is hilarious. It was a Star Wars review, and it was Why Star Wars The Last Jedi Sucks. That was the title. And it was essentially an hour-long live stream of the other guys just ripping into The Last Jedi, tearing it to shreds. After it was out, the title got changed to Why Star Wars The Last Jedi Doesn't Suck. And everybody was like, TTV, well, you're like changing it so you can get like both sides of the opinions to come watch your video. And you're like misrepresenting the content of the video to get clicks. Actually, it was Vin. Vin from TTV, who really liked the movie, trolling us by changing the title of it. That's all it was.
Well, now that you're on, you want to talk about episode 8?
No.
I'm good, dude.
Oh, we're going to say that for another podcast?
We should say that for another podcast. Essentially, I'm not a fan. I think you are a fan, I believe.
I like it, yeah. And I made some good points. And
You did?
it's like it's literature. It's just a fucking popcorn movie.
Shut the fuck up. We're not having this discussion right now. Shut up.
I like his golden robe.
Christ, no. I'm gonna kick you out if you keep going.
No. It's all good.
Wow.
Free speech, bruh.
No, this isn't a democracy. I'm the dictator here.
All right. But yeah, go on.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, again, going back to the point that you didn't decide overnight, or you didn't realize overnight that you were unhappy with the channel. So what was the exact reason for your drop in morale?
Okay. So there's a point that I can remember, there's a point where I can recall that everything went downhill. And that was twofold. It was the year 2016 when G2 got canceled, and then a few months later, Vessel went down. That was the 1-2 punch that essentially destroyed us and made 2017 such a freaking hollow shell of a year for TTV. Because think about it, we had staked everything on Bionicle. We had built our channel around Bionicle G2. That's how we got popular. Everybody came to us and loved it. Loved our content on it, rather. And we struggled all throughout 2015 and 2016 to talk about it because there was nothing there. There was no story content to really talk about. So it just devolved into just picking it apart. And over the year, I grew to hate it. And that was the big thing. Whenever people go like TTV, we're like blindly praising G2 right up until it got canceled. And then they flipped. I'm just like, excuse me, go back and listen to the podcast. I hated G2 with a burning passion. And I got into long debates about how god-awful the story was. But still, when it got canceled...
No world building.
No world building, essentially. And then it got
good
canceled.
Toys, though. Great toys.
Great toys. So when it got canceled, all those aspirations we'd had for Bionicle just kind of faded into a puff of smoke. And then after that, we were like, okay, it's fine. We still have a fan base. Maybe we'll go to Brick Fair, get into other Lego. You know, we'd been planning for a while to get a studio, expand, do a lot of high quality set reviews, and just try to like break out into the Lego sphere. As we went to Brick Fair, that was fun. We got to see all the system mocks and stuff. And then immediately when we get back home, Vessel goes down, which was our major source of hope, essentially, for the future. We had an audience over there that like, we didn't worry about clickbait. We didn't worry about trying to get views on YouTube. We were just doing stuff and people would watch, and we were actually going to be able to do our dreams. And then the rug got pulled out from under us there. And we were like, okay, so our entire point of our channel is canceled, and we have to now massively downsize our plans.
So a way to be free from clickbait gets shut down. So what you're saying is KhingK was responsible for shutting down this website.
Oh, God. Well, that's a conspiracy theory. John would have to be a member of Verizon to buy out Vessel. Because that's
you never know, man.
Secret Verizon employee.
It's got connections.
That's what happened. It was very depressing, very demotivating. The thing we had fun doing was gone, and the thing that was lucrative and making us money and enabling us to grow in the future was also gone. So both avenues were essentially just destroyed. And all throughout 2017, we tried everything we could do to pick up the pieces and get ourselves back on track. Didn't work. 2017 was a horrible year.
Is that kind of why you guys have migrated to Ninjago? To look for a new audience?
Half and half. Yeah. Ninjago is definitely the popular thing. I feel like if we had hopped on board Ninjago back when it first started, we would be like way more popular than we are now. Let's be honest. At the same time,
there is still Bionicle content there, and I was willing to offer John some little inside information, but he never took the offer. Never made a deal. But
what about the other John?
We can talk about that another time.
Well, what about the other John? Funny guy.
The John, KhingK John.
Hey, I'm the John now.
With,
Yeah,
with
you are
Ninjago, it's a double-edged sword. I can totally see why you'd look on the outside and be like, "Oh, you're just hopping on the bandwagon to get a new audience." And I do feel like it's definitely the more popular thing. At the same time, I am a really massive Ninjago fan, honestly.
My issue with that is if you're
Prpl
trying to
and
bank on Ninjago too, is that the age group for Ninjago is a lot more limiting than Bionicle too, right?
In essence,
I think kids are more likely to grow out of Ninjago a little bit earlier than they would Bionicle,
It's a
especially since
thought.
we're still going on with Bionicle. But
Ninjago is absolutely wildly popular, and right now they are in the midst of essentially pulling a Bionicle 2006. They've like edged up the show, and it's like darker, except they've done it way better than Bionicle ever could have possibly dreamed of doing it.
Is there a Ninjago rap? And there's chain link
I'm
fences.
sorry. Did Ninjago
No.
get the All-American rejects?
Not yet. It might
Ah.
happen. No, essentially they've done it without resorting to cheap gimmicks. And like I look at Ninjago and I'm like, wow, this could have been what Bionicle was, an actual successful thing that started out for a younger audience and then matured gracefully as the kids got older. And I'm like, huh, this is actually really good.
I want it to
wholeheartedly
go into that
recommend it.
Exo Force niche. That's where I want Ninjago to go.
Totally. I would wholeheartedly recommend watching it to anyone.
I think
it
Ninjago
does start
should
off
be
cheesy.
exactly as dark as Evangelion.
Yeah, I agree. Super edgy.
Wait, but correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't 2006 your favorite year?
It was.
Huh. So
Not for the advertising, but I just like the story. They balanced out all the characters. They had like the old ones and the new ones, and everything got given respect. You know, the Nuva and the Anika and the Voyanu Matoran and the Paraka. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that. Maybe I'm just an
Good.
educated, but I really loved 2006 advertising.
I mean, I like it ironically.
Voyanui sucked. I brought that up last time, but Voyanui just sucked balls. There's nothing in it. There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Yeah, so going back to Vessel, like you guys always talked about how Vessel was so much better for you, but like how exactly was that better for you?
Okay. There's a few things. Number one, Vessel was not like YouTube, where it essentially relies, when you think about it, about getting random people invested in your channel through related videos or search results. When you really think about it, you post a video and people just find it somehow. Well, they either find it from searching for it, or they find it from clicking on a related video. That you have to get to show up by using tags and clickbait, thumbnails, and titles and everything. With Vessel, you were essentially able to cultivate an audience in a similar way to Patreon, where you could say, okay, if you go become an early access member, then you can watch all of our content on the Vessel platform. You can get exclusives. You can get it early before it actually hits other outlets like YouTube. And it almost created I hesitate to use the word community because it feels trite, but that's a good way to describe it. It was a very dedicated group of people that were actually enough to sustain the entire channel and the entire operation, even if they weren't that big. And it was also based on like watch time. So it's not like YouTube where you have to like do short videos that are around like 10 minutes so you can get maximum ad placement or whatever. You can do a 10-hour just podcast session or goofing off playing Minecraft, stick it on Vessel, and if your dedicated hardcore fans watched it all the way through, then you would make good money, like really good. And you didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to like sell out. You had complete freedom. It also helps that the people who ran Vessel were just really, really nice. Our points of contact over there always stayed in touch with us. They were always like giving us news and whatnot without us having to prompt them or beg for them. They were always supportive with every problem we ever had. It was just a pleasant experience working with those people. That's essentially what it is. No, it's good that we made money over there. We made really good money. I think, without getting into specifics, it's about 10 times what we made on YouTube at the time. Not exaggerating.
Christ.
Wow.
But it was also just, they were fun to work with. They were good people who didn't treat you badly. And they actually felt like they respected the people on their site. Unlike YouTube, which is a freaking soulless shell of a corporation.
So that's why they sold out?
I mean, they got bought out by Verizon. So.
Yeah.
Essentially, they probably did not have a sustainable business plan. They were paying people too much, basically, and they didn't promote their platform enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even with how immensely popular YouTube is, like Google has not made a cent on YouTube since they bought it.
Yeah, YouTube's being kept afloat by like Google's other ventures, if I recall correctly.
Interesting.
Or at least it has been historically. Like, they've been trying really, really hard to make it profitable for like the last 10 years now,
Yeah.
Well,
and it hasn't been working.
Especially with trying to purify things for more appropriate advertising and so on.
Yes.
Hook more
Triple
companies.
threat adpocalypse. That's...
Yeah, and it's continuing now with like weapon channels and
Adpocalypse
stuff.
G2.
Yeah, it's never ending.
That was the other thing that happened throughout the year of 2017 and 2016 that cut down on our morale. The multiple adpocalypses, they did hurt us badly.
So how is TTV handling the new monetization stuff?
Well, we're not really affected because we try to keep our channel family friendly. The main thing the adpocalypse hit us with.
Oh no,
was
I meant the not the family friendly stuff. I meant the watch time.
Oh.
Where it's something like 1,400 hours a week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the good thing with us is we have a lot of residuals because of our backlog of videos. People will go back and just watch them. But we still have videos that just balloon in views, like the top 10 rarest minifigures that just got like an absurd amount of views. That alone probably keeps it afloat.
Damn.
But
yeah, when are top
essentially-
10s coming back?
I mean, probably not at all, because that's one of those like soulless content things. I think I'm the only person in the group that really had fun doing top 10s, only because I was able. Maybe Eljay.
Yeah, he's in the chat saying he had fun.
I liked them because I could just sit down and like talk about stuff that was on my mind, like my top 10 best and worst things about G2 video. That was fun. So if you see any top 10s in the future, they'll be done by me because I want to do them, essentially. But we're done with that. Nobody else enjoyed it.
Just as long as you're not like number 10, my tenuous foot lettuce. Or something.
The last thing you want in your Bionicles is someone's foot fungus.
I hate you for doing such a perfect impression. Like last night I was just I was editing the past episode and I got to that part and I just kept repeating it to myself over and over.
Essentially, that was all with Vessel. It was like there was a point where we were like, people say, TTV, you're like such a business, like corporate try-hard. Like you guys are using the word LARPing a lot last week to describe John, which is pretty funny.
Well, there's more directed at Kai exclusively.
Yeah, there's an argument to be made for that in reference to us, though, like being like a super official, like corporate business. But there was a serious point where we were making enough money to be like, okay, it's not like we can quit our jobs, but we could dedicate more time to this. We could go rent a studio in North Carolina. We could get better equipment, in which we did do that. We did get better equipment. That's how VAR has done his reviews and stuff. And we can just set up this like production place where we can essentially just go there a couple times a month, everybody meet up and just do stuff, be it webcam podcasts in person, set reviews that are super fancy, skit comedy, kind of like Eljay did. That was all in his skits. That was all the plan for that space. And when Vessel came down, I'm really grateful it happened when it did, before we had already got that all set up. But it
ran out of studio in California, and then
boom, the bottom falls on.
Hey, why can't I hold all these bounced checks?
Yeah.
Don't go into
I gotta be grateful.
$7,000 in debt just for your YouTube channel,
Essentially, I gotta be grateful it happened when it did.
Like going $600 in debt for a LinkedIn subscription.
Whatever could you be talking about? But
nothing at all.
Anyway, with that change, after Vessel came down, you guys switched over to Patreon. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Hit me with your best shot at Patreon. I can take it. Be cruel.
I don't really have much of a problem with the Patreon, other than the upper tiers were like really ridiculous. I was mostly gonna get into that. You guys like changed your model of production and started getting more into live streams and stuff like that.
Yep. Well, with Patreon, so you don't do any of you disagree with Patreon like fundamentally, or are you cool
No.
with it? It's just about how it's handled.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am completely cool with Patreon as a concept.
Because I will be the first person to say that our Patreon was terrible. It was absolutely dreadful from the minute it got put up. And the reason is because when Vessel fell out from under us, we kind of panicked. We were like, okay, we cannot rely on YouTube. It fluctuates too much. What else is there? It's Patreon. We were like, okay. We did some research. We saw other patrons who have done stuff. And we did put in some like lower level stuff that everybody could enjoy, like pay $1, get the Discord server, early MP3 audio. It's like easy stuff. But when it got to the higher tiers, you're totally right. Essentially, it all fell apart, and we were not prepared to do that. Like one of the tiers we had thought of was if you pledge $10 or more, you essentially get entered into a raffle, and you get one raffle ticket, and then every month we'll like raffle off a Lego set to one of our patrons. And that was a cool idea, I thought. Come to find out, Patreon doesn't allow you to do that. That's actually against the rules. So there goes that
Gambling,
idea.
I guess.
Essentially, that's kind of what.
Didn't you guys have a Patreon tier where if you paid so much, you could go on the podcast or something like that?
Not in so many words. It was a project spotlight. Only 2 people have ever done that. One of which we're actually going to be talking about on the next podcast we do. So hey, he'll be the last one to do that. But essentially stuff like that, that was where it all kind of fell apart. We were like, oh, we'll do game nights. And then we very rarely ever did game nights because it was a pain to schedule. We had these stretch goals about like Eljay doing a combination model reviews, and then Eljay got fired. So like the stretch goals, completely irrelevant. We had like, if we get this many patrons, we'll release the TTV t-shirts again because they were bleeding money before and we never reached it. To this day, we have never advertised our Patreon in a standalone video. We have never actually said on the channel, go subscribe to our Patreon, which I find hilarious. We've only ever talked about it in podcasts. So we never even really made an effort to grow the thing. Because we can be lazy sometimes. That's really the only thing I can say to that. It was a mess.
I mean, like, at least you weren't shilling it at every opportunity.
Yeah,
like,
you're totally right.
Do.
You're
What
right.
was this about a Patreon savings type thing?
Oh,
I think it was mentioned in the last podcast.
Okay, yeah, I can clear that up really briefly. It's not a huge thing. Well, it's not about Patreon so much. It's just about our money in general. And the statement that Var put out, he was like, essentially with our money going forward for full transparency, 50% is going to go into savings, and the rest will be split between everybody each month. And that created a bit of confusion because we were like, well, why weren't you putting money into savings already? We actually were. That's just not something we've ever publicized. It was 25% before now. And now because we make drastically so much less money, it's 50%. That's all. We just wanted to tell people that.
TTV is broke. Give them money.
Also, are we going to have a new joiner to this here podcast?
It seems like we have a last minute call in.
He's saying he's Winua Mari 451.
Oh,
hey guys. Hi, I just want to say I'm a huge fan.
Oh god.
You're ripping off my shtick, boy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I only watch TTV, and I never saw this before.
How the fuck did this dude get in here?
Good question.
Anyway, I just have a question. Can I be a guest on in a future episode?
Do it, dude. YOLO. Hashtag YOLO swag.
Be gone.
Oh
Be
no.
gone, thought.
Damn, but yeah.
Essentially, our Patreon sucked. And what was the other thing you were gonna lead into about that?
Oh wait, I have just one last thing to say about the Patreon, but
I'm going to criticize your Patreon more.
No, it's not more about the Patreon. It's more like some people. I've talked to some people about the Patreon, and it just kind of gave off the vibe like, you know, the game nights, and a lot of people misinterpreted that whole pay to be on the podcast thing. I got it from the start, but a lot of people misinterpreted that, and then they also, you know, misread into the Patreon chat but basically saying that it was a pay to be our friends kind of thing, which was a common criticism. I kind of agree, but also didn't.
It was very poorly communicated.
Yeah.
I can say that 100%.
Speaking of game night, can we do that again?
Oh God.
Did we ever do that? I don't remember doing that. But,
yeah, the whole way the Patreon thing was communicated, there were a lot of like controversies that happened, mainly dealing with John about communicating Patreon to the fan base. The main thing with the Discord server, it was always just, okay, we have everybody on the message boards. That's how we communicate with our fans. We started the message boards for that sole purpose. We didn't like YouTube comments, so we wanted a place we could talk to the fans. We never wanted to compete with BZP or become the next Bionicle hub. That happened completely by happenstance because Bionicle came back. We just wanted a place that was better than YouTube comments.
Did you feel that the Discord was going to be redundant to the message boards, though?
It was a thought. It's just because the message boards ballooned so much and they got so big, we wanted essentially a place to have a focus group of our fans. Like the really diehard people.
Oh, now you're sounding like a corporation again.
Oh, I mean that's kind of what it is. It's a focus group. We want feedback. These people are the people who
core
care.
demographics of Patreons only.
They're the people who care, and they can actually talk to us in a way that doesn't get lost by like.
How much did you try to support them? Because those would be the long-term people, right?
Yeah, I think the people in the live studio audience, we've had some issues. I know that the main complaint has been we didn't do enough of the promised game nights, which we're trying to like do better for. We've done some, but not as many as they probably were hopeful for. But everybody seems to have enjoyed it. They feel like they've gotten to know us more. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on over there. We like hang out there sometimes and just talk. We'll stay like hours after the podcasts are over and just have like after shows. People seem to enjoy it. I'm not going to say it's been perfect, but the Discord server is the one thing that has gone off without a hitch, at least for the people there. And that's why it's not going to go away. Even though we're changing Patreon, we're still going to have that as a thing.
Yeah, and remember, if you complain about that, it's because you're just a pleb who doesn't subscribe to the Patreon.
Oh, God. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Suffice to say, I do not agree with that. And we'll leave it there.
But yeah, earlier I was gonna lead into like the switch from Vessel to Patreon and how you handled YouTube. You doing more live streams. So like, how did that go for you? Like live streams versus like doing other series. Like you used to have like a bunch of series like Menog with Meso and you were planning History of Bionicle and stuff like that.
Yeah. This is probably my biggest complaint about the channel. Like, if I'm being honest, just about how I feel. This is beyond all the corporate stuff. This is my biggest problem with TTV and what we do. Is essentially we stopped all creative series except for Vin's Mock Spotlight, and we started doing 4 podcasts a week. 4 podcasts.
Damn.
A week.
I can barely handle doing one.
It's too much.
You got to do some Bionicle lore reading in ASMR style. That's what you need.
That'd be great. It was too much to do. I'm sure it was too much for our fans to listen to, and that's why our views started hemorrhaging. And it was too much for me to edit because I edited all of them.
Oh my Christ.
Well, you kind of take the sparkle away once you make it so, common, right?
Yeah. I mean, I used to really like podcasts, and I'll be honest.
You gotta have some time to hype it up. It's like with fucking Star Wars. There's a new one every year now, and you just don't care anymore.
Exactly.
Or Marvel, especially. Every week there's a new Marvel movie. You gotta have some breathing room.
Every week there's a new Marvel movie.
Basically, yeah, you need some time to miss it.
There's a new Marvel movie. The week before is always when they release the Lego sets that spoil the movie.
Way back when we used to pepper the podcast amidst every other series. The golden day of TTV, we had 6 small short form funny video series a week, and then the podcast 1 a week at the very end of the week. That's how I liked it. Then when Bionicle came back, we decided we'd split off and do Brick Feed and do like system news on one and then Bionicle news on the other. When Bionicle died, that kind of just became a general podcast. We split off Bionicle G3 into its own thing because we felt people were getting sick of it on TTV, and we wanted to have some freedom to just talk about whatever. And then Ninjago Cast, because we actually like Ninjago, we want to talk about it. It's too much. Too many podcasts. The thing with the live streams, We started doing that purely because it was easier to edit. Like we would do the live stream and have the pictures just be like in the video, like while we're talking, we'll just have like a screen share and be just clicking between pictures instead of having to like manually edit the pictures into the slideshow video after. It was essentially just a time saver. That's the only reason why. The fact that people like it and can engage in the live chat just made it even better. That's the only reason we ever did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, too many podcasts and the live streams. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, I'm really hoping, especially, what was History of Bionicle gonna be, actually?
History of Bionicle was going to be a long-form, scripted, essentially a Bionicle for beginners video series. If you're learning about Bionicle, here is the entire story outlined into a video you can listen to with cool pictures and video to supplement it. It was going to be scripted by everybody and narrated by Fwef.
Or we were going to do a series about behind the scenes of the creation of Bionicle?
That would also be cool, but no, we never did that.
That's what I thought, actually, when I heard History of Bionicle. I thought it was like History of the Line. It was going to be a 10-part series, and here's how it all went down. We had the idea before G2 got announced, and we were like, all right, this is Bionicle content we could do. G2 got announced. Okay, this is going to be the perfect thing, the best thing ever, because it's going to catch people up to speed so they know about Bionicle before the theme comes back. And then it was announced it was a reboot. And all of the drive to do it essentially went away because people don't really need to know about the old Bionicle right now. There's going to be the new stuff to follow.
In 2019, yeah, I can't wait.
So, oh, yeah, exactly. So we put that on the back burner, and then when it got canceled again, we were just too demotivated to do it, I'll be honest. It was a very editing-intensive show.
Do you ever check the watcher demographics of your videos?
We do. I don't know it off the top of my head, but yes, we do focus on that.
Like the age groups, you should try to look into stuff that may be more catered towards older people, older Bionicle fans. I think any sort of G1 stuff as well, sure.
Yeah, you guys should cater to my demographic.
Maybe even better like reviews than the recap reviews now that you have the better technology for it and experience.
You mean like re-reviewing the older sets again?
Yeah, just rip off Jen completely if you have to.
Recap reviews.
Yeah.
Recap. I don't know about that. Maybe Eljay might have beef with that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good idea.
It's got to go back to the old bass.
Every time I look up a review for like one of the G1 Rahi, I always get like Legomation Studios and no thanks.
Fair enough.
If you know who that is.
Oh yes, I know all about Legomation.
Yeah, the little gags and the carpet, the brown carpet.
Yep. I'm not a fan, but I respect what he did way back when. A lot of people like him.
A decade ago.
Anyway,
moving on. Cutting you off immediately.
Yeah, that's how it gotta be sometimes in this bitch of a podcast.
Did you just quote the Dick Luigi blanket?
Yes.
The Dick Luigi blanket.
I'm gonna send it to you later, but
I'll just put it in.
Okay.
Just put it in Picklecast couch.
So I'm just I have a list of topics that
I have something I can mention.
looking.
It's essentially like one of the biggest things I wanted to come on and clarify. You guys were astonished by the concept of owners versus quote unquote hired talent, to use John's wording. And I can provide some context on that if you'll forgive the pretentious branding. I can shed some light on that. Essentially, what defines an owner of TTV was somebody who had been around for a long time, who cared about the group a lot, but also cared about a lot of the behind the scenes stuff about growing the channel. All of the logistics, all of the we're going to talk to people and figure out how to get views. We're going to send emails back and forth between Vessel. We're going to do all this like boring stuff with the goal of making the channel better. Not everybody in TTV cares about that. A lot of people just wanted to have fun and make videos. Like, Vin, Envy, Fwef, Prpl, none of them are like really into the whole business side of things. That was primarily John, Var, myself, and Eljay, who were the owners of TTV.
So what you're saying is Don made a title for himself to make him sound fancy.
In a manner of speaking.
Oh, why is he so pretend business focused in the first place? Anyways, why is he inclined to be like that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm
Is he
sure
always like that?
he's always been like that for as long as I've known him.
Because he's small.
I respect the ambition. I
Yeah,
really.
I said the same thing last time, but isn't he just like a computer sciences like graduate or something?
That is his major. He's a big Rooster Teeth fan. He's a
Who?
major Rooster Teeth fan, and that
okay.
that should illuminate things slightly. Essentially, trying to do what they did in a lot of ways.
Important question. As a computer science major, because I know a few of these, and this is going to be an important judge of his character. Does he shower?
Yes.
Unless you can smell him through the computer monitor. I don't know.
I've been in person with him 4 times, and yes, I can confirm he does shower.
And all 4 times?
That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. Computer science students don't shower.
Fair enough.
He's a phony. He's more of a phony than we thought.
Essentially, the owners. The reason the owner term exists is because legally, us 4 do own a stake of the company, quote unquote, in the sense that if one of us leaves or was fired, we essentially have to like pay out their share, essentially, and also like for tax purposes or whatever, about like the money we get. Now, the difference between us and the rest of TTV, yes, the owners, they did get paid more. I won't say how much, but because there's a lot of behind the scenes work that went into it beyond just making a video, that was how it was like justified. Was there's a lot of time commitment behind the scenes, the people who are really dedicated to growing TTV and making it work versus the people who like it as a fun hobby outlet like it initially was, but they're mainly concerned with just having fun and making videos. And that's why they were talent, quote unquote. They're the talented people who make the videos.
The Hollywood of the Bionicle community.
And we are the behind the scenes dudes who do all the boring stuff like thumbnails and emails and, you know,
So to
titles.
make you feel better about yourselves, you call yourselves owners.
Make it that what you will, but that's what it is.
Hey, you should release Pandemic Panda's tax reports.
You're funny guy.
You guys can't run for president unless you release your tax returns.
Ah, yes, that's the truth. So, you know, nobody in TTV ever like really disliked that system because none of them, most of them never really wanted any part of that side of things anyway. It was just kind of a necessary thing that had to be done. But I totally get how it sounds very pretentious to people who aren't involved, and even to us who are involved, it sometimes.
Well, it's not in the kind of tone, the way he carries himself too, right?
Yeah.
So it really feels like a kid in a business uniform, business costume or something. Because it's total role play. Because you don't feel that sincerity or confidence when you're talking to someone who's where they should be. I guess, if you know what I mean.
I do. I understand what
he's like it's acting unnatural because not everybody has those kind of characteristics. I don't know if you can necessarily teach it. You can teach someone that has it, I think, but you can't teach someone to have it.
Makes sense.
So now that we have finally arrived at the short subject at matter here.
Oh boy.
So I wanted to ask, how much responsibility did John have when it came to like TTV's protocols and their actions?
He had a lot. You cannot just say, however, that John is responsible for every bad thing that TTV did, because the fact of the matter is he might have wanted to do things and he might have had ideas and ambitions, but they still had to clear the other people in the group before they were done. He didn't have autonomy. So at some point or another, we're held responsible as well for all the mistakes that were made. Essentially, yeah, John was the one who was very business inclined. He was the one who would do the emails with people. He's the one who would pitch new directions or whatever.
He's the one who would swing his stick around.
Oh, that's another thing. All the meme-worthy posts. Oh boy. And essentially, he did have a way of being very persuasive. And everyone in the group, you can debate motives all day. You can say like he's a LARP, which is funny, and I can say that could be kind of true. But we all in TTV, we wanted the best for the channel, so we were willing to go along with it to a point, in the hope that the ends would justify the means. We whether you believe it or not, that's totally your call, but at least myself, and I believe Var and Eljay as well, we had very altruistic goals when it comes to TTV. We didn't just want to like get rich so we could just kick back, quit our jobs, and be lazy and like soak in the YouTube money. We wanted to get money so we could upgrade our equipment, so we could dedicate more time to doing this versus the real life jobs, and hopefully make better content, especially in the wake of Bionicle going away. We felt that was more important than ever. But going back to John's influence, you can say that he was one of the main driving forces behind the whole thing. I don't think that's unfair to say, nor do I think it's a secret with the way that he presented himself and the way he spoke. The business
like a fucking
thing,
used car
definitely.
salesman or something.
Yeah, and like the business stuff was him. It always was, and we respected it because we all wanted the best for the channel.
Well, you trust him. He's your buddy, and you gave him the benefit of the doubt too, right?
Yeah, totally. And I still don't think that it was necessarily bad. I just think there have been a lot of mistakes along the way that we have made, and we've had to own up to.
I think we should get to those mistakes with him at least.
Okay. Fire up.
There were some things you took issue with what I said. I think so. If you want to,
there's some stuff I can like answer. There's some stuff I might not answer. But hit me with like whatever you want to say.
Before that. I have a question actually.
Go on.
You said that you, Var, and Eljay went along with it for altruistic goals. Like your goal wasn't to like kick back and get rich and famous.
Correct.
Was that John's goal then?
I mean, I can't speak for him. I don't know what's going on in his head. I'd like to think that wasn't the case. He always spoke about the same goals as we did, but obviously different people have interpreted his actions and words very differently.
He was secretly plotting.
And I mean, listen, I knew the guy for many years. I hope that he shared those beliefs. I think he did. There was probably other stuff behind the scenes too. He probably had his own goals. He's a big Rooster Teeth fan, as I said. He very well might have had his own agendas, essentially, and I don't think anybody would be wrong for suspecting that.
Yeah.
But that's all I'll say on the matter, because I can't freaking read.
Well, I brought that up last time, just by that tone he has, how kind of dehumanizing it is. So it's really easy to speculate and just demonize someone like that.
He said it on the podcast in the past. He's said it, so it's no secret. He does this thing. He puts on a face. He has this like persona that he puts on.
I hate that shit.
It was supposed to be for entertainment purposes on the podcast, almost like a character, like how Eljay is the spastastic guy who just like says all the crazy, funny, dumb stuff. He kind of does that off camera. It's not a lie, but obviously when you're in the entertainment mode, you're like trying to be funny. John said that was his goal too, but as people have seen on the message boards, it could sometimes go too far. I think he had trouble dissociating that persona with his actual big personality, if that makes any sense. Yeah. It's just a lesson to show when you take a character too far, I think.
All can be given, all can be taken away.
Oh god.
So
go on. I'm curious to hear.
Yeah. Ace, you wanna...
I'll do my best.
Well, I don't know what you took issue with, so you got to tell me, right? To jog my memory.
I think we might have misunderstood each other. I didn't take issue with anything you said in particular.
Well, there's things I guess you want to elaborate too on.
You were wrong. I just kind of wanted you to be on, so like we could have that discussion and just kind of jog memory and stuff. I've pretty much we're working down the bullet point. Most of them have been answered, but I knew there were going to be a billion other things asked, so I'm happy to say whatever.
Well, before we get started on
I want you to lead on, but I thought you said there's.
I think you were one of the main people who was talking about how ridiculous the whole hired talent thing was.
Oh, it is the formalities and all this stuff.
The formalities and
when you take the hobby and you make it into your fucking job, you normally don't want to intersect those two things because one's your outlet to escape to, right?
Yep.
And when you combine the both things, you get where you are right now. So
totally, and then you kind of have neither. We're not a successful business, and we didn't have the outlet.
At least you turn the valve off, or turn the valve on, and let out some steam. And Buddy's gone now, so there's some time to relax. But
There's a few things.
At least you're a good place for people to come and swing their dicks around.
Oh boy. That's the new motto, I guess. That's how people know us. My God.
I've seen it spread around, so
Swear to God. All right. A few things that I know. I think you were talking about, Ace. If we're going along this line of thinking, you mentioned how TTV exists on like an island, and we haven't really interacted with the broader community that much.
Up until now, things have kind of fractured, right?
Yeah.
I was the one who brought that up, I think. Actually.
Oh, my bad.
That was he? No,
Yeah.
either way.
Well, I think you guys agree on that point, though,
Yeah.
primarily.
Yeah.
I can shed some light on that. It's all about our history. It makes sense if you like know the ins and outs of TTV's history, because all of us met each other on BZP. We came from bzpower.com, which for the first 10 years of Bionicle's life was pretty much the only place you could go. This was before social media really took off. It was before all the other forums, before YouTube communities. It was BZP, essentially, was Bionicle.
Mm-hmm.
And when Bionicle got canceled and BZ Power fractured and it went down for an entire year, that's when the Bionicle community really started to spread out, and it started to like manifest and take root on all the different social media platforms. Reddit, Tumblr, 4chan, YouTube really started to flourish around that time because the hub was gone and everybody had to go elsewhere and make new communities, basically. And we did that same thing. We were like, all right, well, we'll go to YouTube because we can't rely on BZP being a hosting platform if they're going to go down for an entire year for routine forum upgrades and maintenance. And that's when we were like, well, we hate YouTube comments. Let's make the TTV message boards. For the longest time, we didn't want to become BZP, just being on an island, but we kind of did because that's what we knew. Essentially, it's like the nature versus nurture.
Looking down from those ivory towers.
Exactly. We kind of became what we didn't like, the island, the monopoly thing that, we were fine. We were just doing our own thing. Why would we really need to go out of our way to interact with other communities? Really, it's not like we don't like them, but we just kind of want to do our own thing and do our own videos. And I can tell you 100% the reason for that is because we never thought of ourselves as a community, really. We were just a YouTube channel, but we were very ignorant of the fact that when you put up a forum, when you put up a message boards, you become a community and you have a bigger reach. It took us a while to really grasp the implications of what we did.
If you were successful, you could foster that, then you'd have a proper long-term fan base too, right?
Exactly, 100%. Our goals were not perhaps what they should have been.
Most of the biggest YouTubers have some sort of weird brand name for their fan bases. I'm sure you've seen it with PewDiePie, and it goes back to Kiss with the Kiss Army, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
Of course, you want to start that when you're a little more popular, unless it's before that it gets kind of cringy,
Yeah, it does. You're trying to force something.
Getting that face tattoo before you're famous.
I think the biggest thing was actually a point John made on a forum or on the TTV podcast, I forget, where he's like, why don't you post on the TTV message boards anymore? And I wouldn't necessarily agree with the phrasing, but I think the spirit is shared by many people. It was like, okay, you have your own forum, but you never post on it. Why? And you don't post on other forums. And it is, well, if I was going to have a topic about, I don't know, why I really liked Barra Magna in Bionicle. I think Barra Magna was really cool, and I want to talk about it. Why would I post on a forum where it'll get like 12 likes when I could talk about it on the podcast and it could get viewed by thousands of people?
Well, that's why I like Discord, because it's all instant too. The interaction.
Exactly.
No, there's no lag
that was
between
before
messages.
Discord really took off.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about, and the way John phrased that was horrible. He was like, we interact with our audience through our content, and I was like, what
Content.
So you're saying the message boards aren't content? So why the
Well,
fuck
that sounds more like an excuse to me.
Yeah.
It just came across as really snobbish.
I totally get it. I don't think you're wrong for thinking that at all.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely proven now.
I never stopped interacting on forums. I didn't do it as much as I perhaps should have, but I've been on Eurobricks for many years. Eurobricks was like my second home way back when for leaks. And then when that kind of fell off, it kind of became 4chan. 4chan had all the cool leaks, so I became a lurker over there.
4chan.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this
4chan.
mysterious place.
It's an elusive place filled with hackers and like.
Oh, I thought
Evil
4chan
people.
was the hacker.
Oh, you're right.
I am the hacker.
Oh man, I
4chan.
love. My parents were watching Homeland the other day, and this CIA agent went to like 4chan to get info on some guy, and she just immediately got siskied. It was hilarious.
Nice.
So,
So
let
I mean,
it be
like,
known
that's a failing.
that
Hmm?
Swert has fallen for Bofa D's nuts.
Yes.
Wow.
Meso fell for it earlier, I think.
I did. I did
Oh
fall
my
for it.
god.
That was quite upsetting.
All right, look.
Yeah.
I'm
She's been
also
doing it all day.
hey, I'm also not entirely awake. I've had a very long day.
Go sleep, old man.
You've had a long day. I've been awake for 33 hours.
Well, now whose fault is that, Meso?
Mine, I'm just saying. I'm functioning and talking in coherent sentences. Of course, I guess I also fell for it. So
Yeah, I was about to say we both
I don't really have
technically.
a point.
Look, I'm also sitting here in a field of like how many A-full terms and T-full terms, and so how was I?
Evil.
T-full.
Teenage fans of
Fans
Lego?
of Lego. Yes, that is actually a term. Go
Ugh.
look it up. It's not
It
a great
is.
term,
It's
but it
something.
describes honestly the.
Why do people need that to describe
Half the
themselves?
people-
Why can't it be someone that just likes Lego?
Mhm.
I don't know.
There's some weird connotation to it too. It's like I like these toys, but I'm an adult. Okay, it's legitimate because I'm an adult. It's like, come on, who gives a
Like,
shit?
yeah, you're a fucking man child. Man, grow up and
Just
deal with
accept it. That's all
You
we
know,
are.
the funny part is I can't speak for certain, but I'm sure I've never heard anybody in the official Lego company ever refer to anybody as an AFOL at all.
Yeah, they use
Good.
terms like high affinity users and low affinity users.
Right.
What the
Claim,
fuck?
Like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
like people
no,
who are really into something is like
Oh,
they're high affinity.
this is a
they're-
legitimate thing.
they're
They
really
actually
into it.
don't refer to any of their customers like fans of Lego. No. They are, as Meso said.
So do they group their
Swert, you're not in this episode. Get out.
so does
like the
Lego like
casuals.
group their customers based on class and race too?
no, just
these
interest, man.
people are high affinity
Oh,
these people are high affinity druids.
Yeah,
And now I
no, no,
return
no,
to
no.
the ether.
nice. Something like that's why we're definitely all guilty of it, but I think people might phrase it differently depending on how you ask them. I would just say it's a part of our history, and it
Mhm.
took some unlearning about like
Yeah.
there's a lot of other communities out there, and to be honest, I really didn't know. Like I look at like Reddit, and I'm like, okay, yes, there's a Bionicle Reddit, and people make posts, and it's awesome, and I post there occasionally. But then there's this like added meta level underneath, like, but there's a Reddit Discord server that people
Mhm.
like talk in. Facebook has like a mask posting group, but then there's a mask posting Discord server.
And then the mask posting Discord podcast.
Yeah, it's like it did take a while, I'll admit, to get all the levels understood. But
Yeah.
once we've done it, we're all trying to like spread out. And Eljay gets like first credit for that because when he got
Mhm.
fired, he like went on an outreach spree and like started talking to like everybody, which was a very smart move.
Yeah, I was mentioning this to him the other day. That I find it really hilarious that but I guess this is gonna get into this next point because I don't
boy.
really know. I need clarification on this, to be honest.
Okay.
But like, it's really funny that according to my speculation, John got LJ fired, and then LJ cornered the only market John could have gone for on his own.
It's pretty funny. Do you want to talk about Eljay's situation?
Yeah, please.
Yep.
I think
Well-
we've all been hungering for an explanation.
I mean, I'm not. If you're looking for the gory details, you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, I know.
But I will give you essentially a rundown. The question always comes up like, did John get LJ fired? And it's like, like yes and no. It's not that black and white. I mean, like
Mhm.
it's no secret that those two had a conflict. Like if you just look at the situation with like open eyes and you look at like who wished LJ well and who liked his posts and who still interacted with him on Twitter, it's pretty apparent that there was a clash between John and Eljay. But is it as black and white as John getting Eljay fired? No, there were years worth of issues, infighting between friends that culminated in this one particular dispute that ended up being the cause for Eljay's firing. And I mean, like, problems like that are bound to arise between friends who have known each other for so long and been involved in so many things. Like, for the past 8 years, most nights, TTV is on call talking to one another for many hours at a time. We interact with each other perhaps too much, to a point where it's perhaps unhealthy and could perhaps create problems. I don't know. Sometimes some space does wonders for people, but it essentially, I know Eljay's phrased it in the past, there was a personality clash.
TTV is the Beatles of Bionicle podcasts.
I mean, maybe if you want to go that route, sure, that's fine. Eljay's used the words toxic personality clash, and I feel like that's a very apt way of putting it. There was a clash in personalities between him and John that created an unpleasant environment for everybody. But over the past 7 months, we've been able to rebuild the friendships like normal people. We've worked through all the drama, and when we did this whole like rebranding thing, it's like we're gonna get ourselves back on track. We were like, hey, come back to TTV to help us with this, and he's totally down for it. So use it as a lesson, kids. You're never too far gone with your friends. You can patch things up. It might take time and distance, but people can work through stuff.
So you guys see the new Firefly brickheads that just dropped?
What?
I'll post a link right now.
Don't you dare. Don't you mess with me. It's freaking Han Solo, you cretin.
What a masterpiece that's going to be.
Han Solo.
When does that come out again? Like
You're not going to convince me that that's not Captain Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
My God. Oh, boy.
He looks more like Nathan Fillion than Harrison Ford.
You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah, but
so essentially, I hope that's like semi-satisfactory. I know it probably isn't what you would like to hear as far as like what exactly happened, but
I wasn't expecting that much.
How long do you figure Kali's going to be an outcast for?
I mean, do you mean in the community or with TTV?
Well, TTV specifically, sure.
I mean, with TTV, here's what I'll say, because I'm not going to, I know you're not asking, but I'm just reiterating for listeners. I'm not going to get into why John was fired.
No.
Because it's a very complex personal situation. All I will say is exactly what people have been saying. It's what our statement is what Diggy said. The timeline is Prpl left of her own volition. A few hours later, that very same night, John was fired. And then behind the scenes, we spoke with Prpl. We were able to work out a thing where she stays on in a limited capacity, takes a break for her own sake to focus on other things in school, but we'll still be on a few shows and might come back full-time in the future. And then after that, Eljay came back as part of our rebranding thing. So you're free to draw your own conclusions.
Yeah,
from that.
I was gonna mention there.
You are totally free. But as far as the whys and the gory details, sorry to say, you're not gonna be getting those.
Yeah. Why dwell on the past when the future looks so bright?
That's true, but I also do respect. I see a lot of people going around in the community like TTV won't give us answers, and they're so annoyed when we ask for them. I get it. I get what you want to know. It's not a bad thing to want to know at all. We did this to ourselves. We made ourselves freaking Z-list, YouTube celebs that like only a few people actually care about, but those few people might want to know.
You're overestimating yourself.
Yeah, I know. I probably am. I get that people want to know about the drama and stuff. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just there is a certain level of like privacy.
If it comes out, is there going to be any sort of damage control over it? If the information leaks?
I mean, if it leaks, it leaks. That's like we're not going to release it. We're not going to go out of our way to do anything. I'm just trying to gauge the
severity of it. I'm kind of curious, as most of us are.
I mean, here's what I'll say.
Sure.
Here's the only thing I'll say on the matter. You asked, how long will John be an outcast for? John won't be returning to TTV.
Ever?
There isn't a future. No, never.
Even to the end of time? No. He's completely barred?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Damn.
That's gone. So
3 generations of punishment.
Yay!
Now,
I
here's how
totally
life
understand why you guys have that 300-year maximum ban on the forums now.
That's just to troll people. I mean, look, life works in strange ways. You have problems with your friends, and it hurts. It's even worse when you're involved with business. You know, people always say don't mix friends with business. I think there's some truth to that.
Don't shit where you eat. Mhm.
But you are free to
Yeah,
draw your own
understandable.
conclusions.
Very
You
understandable.
mind if I air my conclusions right now?
Oh my god.
I mean,
Ruh-roh.
you can
I'm
you
just
can say
fucking
whatever
with
you
you.
want.
I'm not gonna bother.
just
Probably
gonna
gonna cut it.
silent. Okay. You can say whatever the heck you want. You guys can talk about it publicly if you want. You can speculate, theorize, whatever. I got no problem with that. It's the price we pay for doing YouTube.
Yeah.
So
TTV is the Dark Souls of podcasts.
I know the
What
true
is-
sins of why he was fired. I know the
The
truth.
Dark
You do?
Souls of
Yes.
Bionicle
And I-
podcasts.
What was the
And
reason?
once Bonathan stops talking, I will reveal them right now.
Okay.
oh my god. I
He
think
stole
it's-
Minecraft too.
No. It was worse.
Was it Bionicle?
Oh.
He built something with illegal connections.
Oh,
Oh.
you're right. I don't know how I figured it out. There.
That explains it all.
There is no future for him. in
And I
TTV
have
because-
evidence.
Because X will kill him if he ever shows up. Because he's really against illegal connections.
Really?
Yeah, he is. X
Oh
hates
boy.
it.
Oh boy. Well, that's another topic for another time. But the future of TTV, that's what
Oh,
I
this
want to
is
talk about. So I
the
saw
future.
that just last night you hired someone else.
We did. Dead Matoro.
Mhm.
He's a fan of ours who drew us a lot of fan art at Brick Fair or whatever. And her being hired onto the channel, hired, that's like not a thing anymore. I got to kick the bad habit. Her being brought onto the channel should give you an indicator of how things are going to go. She's not like a YouTube personality. She's only done a few videos. She might not have the best mic or whatever, but we think she's funny. Been hanging out with her for a while. Why not bring her on? And that's kind of our philosophy going forward. It's going to be the most casual thing you could possibly imagine. We're still going to put out a ton of videos, but all the structure, all the rhythm, all the rhyme and reason behind things, it's essentially been thrown out the window in favor of fun, which sounds great on principle. It might be chaotic, too chaotic at times. I don't know, maybe some structure's good. We might rebuild, but essentially that's what we're going to be doing going forward. We're
Cool.
taking away many of our shows. We're retooling them. Brainstorm. Everybody hates Bionicle G3 because of Shiwa. You'll be happy to know. You'll be happy to know that podcast is essentially canceled. But we're not ditching the G3 idea, suckers. We're still gonna do stuff with it.
Yeah, you're gonna
We're
do stuff
like,
with
retool
G3 and
it.
Bionicle 2019.
You're right. That's what's gonna happen. You
Can't
know,
wait.
will our thing technically be G4 if it comes back in 2019? That's the question.
Oh
It
boy.
would have to be. Right?
When you're so next level, you make G4 plans when G3 is being sold.
G4 or G2.5, one or the other. But essentially, everything is going. We're going back to the drawing board on everything. And listen, there will be some audience drop off. We know because we're going to be doing non-Lego stuff. And I know that's a sensitive
Non-Lego
topic
stuff.
for a lot of people.
Oh,
Non-Lego
man, how dare
stuff.
you have other interests?
It's like, it's the 4 podcasts, man. I keep coming back to it. Here's the thing: do people in TTV still like Lego and Bionicle? Yes. Do people in TTV love it? Yes. There's a lot of people in TTV that love it. But does everyone in TTV love it the same amount and is willing to sit down for 4 hours a week? No. So for the sake of the channel and for people not leaving and still having fun with things, there will be other content to spliced in between the Lego.
Mhm.
But we're still going to do it. We're still going to do the Brick Feed podcast. It's going to be retooled. If you're in the system, that's your place to go. For Bionicle fans, we've got a plethora of ideas for fun shows to do, which I think that you will enjoy. And Ace, I'm going to take some of your feedback about more adult, something more for older fans of Bionicle.
Well,
to
not so much
enjoy.
adult as like mature audience thing, but things that would
Mature.
more cater. Like you don't need to have TTV Extreme, 18 and up plus content. All the racial
sure.
slurs and coarse words you want to use. Who knows? No.
TTV Unleashed.
TTV Blood Sports.
Oh, God.
But no, like there's more G1 stuff because so far, like the recap reviews are okay, you know.
Oh,
Oh,
But,
wow.
I mean,
I
for
like
like today's standards of reviews, like we mentioned what Jang last time, he
yeah,
already set the bar way high there. So
totally right.
who was it? Var was making reviews, and those weren't too bad. The lighting was nice,
I'm very
and
I'm very proud of Vars reviews.
a little
I know
more
people
focus on the
might
toy,
disagree.
but I think they're all right.
People might disagree, but I think the template for Vars reviews is like really, really, really awesome. I think it's great.
And if you can get people that
That's
were interested in G2 that would be interested in G1, because you look at Transformers and all the new fans for it, they're always going back to the older canonical stuff, right? Most of the time.
Yeah.
So if you have that, then you have all this content you could make from G1. There's like 10 years of it plus.
Yep.
So
There was a dude on Eljay's live
Fucking
chat when
goldmine.
I was on the Eljay Johnson show, and he was like, "I knew nothing about G1 because I got into Bionicle with G2."
oh, there you
And
go.
I was like, "You poor kid, I hope you're able to enjoy it because there's a whole world out there waiting for you."
So some nice, really well done like novel readings and stuff like that,
That's a really good idea, actually.
etc. There's still plenty of content there.
Dramatic reading of the Bionicle.
No book reviews though.
With any of that, you know who to ring.
No book
Yeah,
reviews.
no book reviews.
Yeah, we discussed that years
Are
ago.
we
We're
like the
"You're
Atmosphere
too boring."
Chapter 1 where Nuju climbed up a cliff and like whatever? Just
We did some book
TTV book
reviews
club.
for Vessel, the TTV book club, and it was saved from being boring because it was our only webcam content.
Mhm.
So at least you could like look at us goofing off while we talked about it.
Yeah. I like the Chronicles books because they really make you appreciate how not very great the Kakama is, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
already run at like 100 miles an hour.
It should be one of the best maps when you think about it, but whatever.
Because they're like crossing the entire island of Matanui, which is like 300 miles long in no time at all.
Hey, buddy, save it for the Lime Joint Book Club. Let's
Oh,
get
yeah.
into some questions.
Oh yeah, so you're done grilling me? You have anything else to
think
say?
so.
Bring it up now.
think so.
Or forever hold your peace until the next time I'm on.
I think we're pretty much done.
No, I wish I had more to ask, but you guys are way more into TTV than I am, invested and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
I'm personally offended. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
but I'm
too
gonna have
old for
to
TTV.
get off my computer in like 5 minutes, so I want to see if I can like get this over with before
I
then.
doubt you'll get it in 5 minutes, dude. But try. Go for it.
Oh boy.
And you're gonna
okay.
make Meso be the host.
I'm already the secondary host, so I'll do it if I have to.
So remember, you can send in your questions to thelimejoint@gmail.com. You can tweet them at us at thelimejoint. You can comment them on our YouTube videos and also on the Facebook posts I make on Bionicle Mask Posting every week. So first question, William Bruning asks, what's your favorite thing about Hero Factory?
Oh God, Hero Recon Team, 100%. Was it bootleg? Yes. Did it barely ever work? Yes. Could it have been tons better? 100%. But being able to design a custom model, give it a name, custom box art, fully printed out instructions, and get an exclusive piece for it as well, and get it all shipped to you, that was 100% the direction they should have gone in further. I guess they stopped it because it didn't sell.
And real talk, I actually managed to order 2 of those exclusive torsos after the fact. So,
Lucky you.
oh,
I
dude,
never got
no.
one.
Here's the worst part. I found the only seller in the United States, and he's literally down the road from me in Olympia, Washington. And he
My
had
God.
like 20 of them for $5 each. And I'm like, I'll just take 2 and I'm done.
Did he still have them?
He might still have them on Bricklink. I'll check for you.
Oh my god.
Please do. Anyway, that was the best thing. Being able to order your own figures, get them custom made. I feel like number 1, it was just a great direction for Construction to go in, and number 2, it was perfect in keeping with Hero Factory's shtick. So it worked as a unique thing to that theme.
Okay. Awesome. So William also asks, this is a stupid question. Bionicle, PUBG, and TF2, or Hero Factory, Fortnite, and Overwatch?
Bionicle, PUBG, 100%. All the different races, crazy guns. Think about it. You could just be running around super edgy. There's like chain link fences and lightning. It would It's very realistic, gritty.
I'm not a
human.
hero factory. I'm a Bionicle.
Exactly.
Okay. So next question, Caleb asks, what's your favorite mock ever?
Tough. I don't really have a favorite mock ever. I'm sorry. I really liked a mock from Shadow Gear 6335, aka Clockwork Tempest. The name eludes me, and I really am annoyed. You'll be able to find it and put it in the video. It was a big transformer, big robot that he made at and had it on display at Brick Fair 2017. And it was hands down one of the coolest and most elaborate mocks I've ever seen. I found that it was actually called Tempest. So very appropriate. I will post a link right now in the good old Picklecast couch. So I'm really big on
Speak
that
of the
thing.
couch.
And it has tons of
Okay.
functions, like the panels can open up to reveal like Gatling guns, and flick fire missiles, and it can actually move. It has articulation.
It's pretty rad.
Pretty cool.
It's really sick.
Well, okay, I have to move to my iPad real quick, so just hold on, guys.
All
I'll be
right.
back.
Diggy's back.
Yeah, basically my iPad is trash, so I can't have Discord and Facebook open at the same time. So, John.
Just toss me the questions, and I can like read them off. You don't have to like read them out, unless you want
Yeah,
to.
this is what I'm trying to say. So please stop interrupting me, everyone. John, can you please read the questions? John.
Hmm?
Oh my fucking
Good job, guys.
Read the questions, please.
Oh, is the link even in the?
No, but you can find it in the group.
Jesus, come
In
on.
the group,
No,
you can
like actually,
find
where
it.
is it?
This is a great podcast, guys. I'm having
In
fun.
Facebook. I didn't link it. Just look for it.
Oh my Christ! You gotta make me do work.
John, eat shit. I
What do
do
you-
99% of everything around here.
Hey, I mean that was your choice. Where in the? Okay, no, I'm searching for it.
Here, I'll answer some of my own questions in the meantime. Meso, what's your favorite Bionicle character? Kopaka, what's your favorite Toad team? Anika.
Who's your
What are your favorite
Bionicle
puppy
waifu?
numbers?
Kopaka and Ika?
Oh, my Bionicle waifu. Probably Shiwa
Who?
from G3.
Oh.
Shiwa.
She was not
Female
canon.
Lila. Everybody loves Shiwa,
Everybody's
right?
favorite trap, yeah.
Oh no. That's getting cut.
What?
Oh, that's getting cut.
You can't
All
say
of this
trap?
is getting cut.
It's a trap.
Anywho.
No.
So, wait.
The
Okay.
last question.
So first off, Hector, you skipped William's other two questions. His very legitimate
No, don't read
questions. Do you
I want to know.
Read them,
I
read
want to
them,
know
read
the
them.
questions, dude. I'll answer them.
Do you like Vegemite?
No.
What's your favorite thing about Hero Factory?
Jimmy Stringer's voice actor.
All right, now
Away
for the-
from the explosives.
Now for the real question.
I'm pretty sure that that was the first thing I asked. The Hero Factory.
Hey, it's Rotor. Oh yeah, you're right. You did ask that. Hero Recon team. Boy.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, we already did favorite mock. So the next one is. Oh fuck! The next one's why is Kopaka the coolest?
Cause he's icy chill.
You have to read who
Okay,
who
here we
asked
go.
the question.
Well, it was yeah. Logan Bunker asked that. Anyway, Rory asks, fuck Carrie Mill, Var, Ven, or Eljay.
Oh no, I'm not doing this. I played the fifth. I refuse. I will just say, friend, kill. I'll do Marvin and LJ. I can be friends with them and I'll kill LJ. Gets me hired to TTV, dies 1 week later.
Oh my god. Why would you do this?
I don't know, because I'm a troll.
Brian asks, best theme besides Bionicle?
I mean, currently, I like Ninjago a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like it's modern Bionicle.
Ninjago's pretty lit.
What about all time?
All time? I mean, would probably still Ninjago, to be honest. I'm more of a story guy than a set guy. And there's no other theme that's had as interesting of a story besides Bionicle than Ninjago.
Not even Fright Nights?
Not even Fright
Not even
Night.
Night's Kingdom.
Not even Knight's Kingdom. Sorry, dude.
But why are they ninjas and where do they go?
Where did you come from? Where did you
They go
go?
everywhere.
I want to
From
get.
Ninjago.
I want to get into Ninjago so bad, but every time, but my soul dies a little bit inside every time I hear Spinjitzu.
Oh, those little
This is
spinner
great,
toys.
though.
Oh,
The masters of
little
spin
Beyblade
jitsu.
things they had.
Like our podcast is Ninjago Cast Masters of Pod Jitsu.
Oh no.
It's like the ultimate cheese. Welcome to the
my God.
dojo.
That
Ninjago.
reminds me though, I can't believe we went this entire podcast without mentioning Kata Night Joe Gregorian chant,
Oh, yes!
hardcore Nightcore remix.
Can
Oh
it
yeah,
please
weren't
do
you
the
the one
intro
that
to
showed
the
that to us?
It was me. It was me the whole time. Listen, just play it when I introduce myself. Freaking WWE music as I walk.
Oh, you like WWE, Meso? I didn't know that.
No, I don't.
Oh, you killed me.
I don't dislike it. I actually know a lot about it by
Could have
proxy
bonded
because
there.
I watch some YouTubers. I've never seen it myself though. Bring back CM Punk.
Yeah.
So moving
He's all right.
forward, Zachary asks, "How baby formed?"
Babby formed very carefully. And also maybe with storks. That's right? Storks.
I thought it was the Red Star.
Oh my god. The Red Star baby maker.
No.
When a
it's
mommy Red
zombie.
Star and a daddy Red Star love each other very much.
Oh no, the
They
cringe.
make a horrible abomination.
They make the Toa Inika.
What's the difference?
So Peter asks, "Who is the worst character in Bionicle?"
So like
Oh shit.
if you expected anything
Oh,
different,
that
Oh, come
you
on.
invited the wrong guy on.
Throwing shade at the cult of Solek.
That reminds me, someone from the Solikians asked me to tell you that your Mesonakian puppet government is gonna fall, something like that.
Yeah, those guys are interesting fellas. That's probably my greatest accomplishment in the Bionicle fandom. I spawned like this counter hyper religious like fanatical cult, but all because I disliked something. It's great. It's like I really dislike handing me money, guys. Can you start the Meso dollar billion cult and just like troll me by giving me hundreds of dollars? Because that'd be cool. I mean, terrible.
Actually, a lot of people I saw a post the other day being like, "Why is Solik so hated? Can you elaborate for those who don't know?"
I mean,
Yeah.
like, I really just don't like the Avmatoran. That's really it. I think the Avmatoran are the worst thing that Bionicle ever did. I think that their build system was absolutely horrendous, and it sacrificed pretty much everything Bionicle ever stood for. The Avmatoran became what the uninformed, like, adult Lego fans think Bionicle is. Just a bunch of, like, blocky parts that you can't, like, do anything with. You just, like, connect them together, and then boom, there's, like, nothing to it. That is the Avmatoran. The reason I hate Solek is just because he's boring. Like at that point in Bionicle, like lime green had just started to come back, so that was like a fresh color with like Tanma and stuff. Photok had the orange. We hadn't seen that until 2007. They were relatively new, but Solek, even though he wasn't like an ice character, he was still a white kind of armored character dude. And all the ice characters usually had like blue. You know, Matoro had like the transparent blue. Matoro Mari had like the light blue that it popped. It had flare. Solek, gray. White and gray and silver. He's freaking boring as dirt, and his mask looks like he has cookies in his cheeks, and he's like puffed out. It's so stupid, and his weapons are so generic.
He's got
Terrible
more
set.
pieces in the Mictoran though.
If they had freaking disk launcher functions, what has he got? Nothing.
Yeah, Bionicle kind of started to suck when they got rid of play functions. I'll tell you that much.
Indeed.
How can you diss the Avatoran build when it gave us the best combiner of all time, Gardas?
Oh yeah, you're
Oh no.
That's not true.
I like
The best
Gardas.
combiner of all time is obviously Matoran Nui.
I think the best combiner is Lucas Valor from Hero Factory, actually. Just saying. Can we have like a stop motion like Gardas versus Lucas Valor? Yeah,
Oh, no,
I would watch
Charlie.
that.
He has a chest for a face. Imagine having two chests, but one of them is your face.
Oh man.
He is a Hero Factory.
Yeah.
Was he gonna be in Revolution?
I wish.
Fucking shame he wasn't.
Would have made that movie a whole lot better.
More questions asked.
Let's see. Nathan asks, Biocraft when?
Oh God.
Oh hey, I can answer that.
It's Biocraft isn't happening. TTV's Biocraft.
Oh, your TTV, yeah, because our map destroyed yours.
Listen, ours is more accurate, Brad. Yours might be 1-to-1
No, it's
scale,
not.
but do you have villagers?
Yes.
Do you have every Matoran's hut
Yes.
assigned to them? Do you have like referential things?
It's got everything. Everything from Mesonak is there. Everything.
Wow.
And it's a 1-to-1 scale.
I'll have to go
Get
on and
wrecked.
fact check that.
Sure.
Get wrecked.
They got the picture floating around here. Of course, I don't have it when I need it, but
Okay, is it this? Is this yours?
yes. Look how far you can zoom it. As I
That's
post
really
the
good.
exact thing. Yeah,
No, I had
Damn
a few
good.
questions.
sure.
I had a few questions, namely, why doesn't it like look anything like what's that gray patch between like Hawaii and like Kauai? Just a giant like gray line.
Oh my god.
What's that all about?
Well, it's Minecraft, right? There's only so much kind of biome transitioning you can do.
Yeah, but like it's very blatant.
Well, come take a look. Come take a look.
I'm just like ripping your hard work to shreds.
What? Where's the ribbon? It's
Ooh.
perfect.
Ooh.
It's very well
Mess
made.
up.
Your guys' stuff was like tiny. It was baby mode.
Oh god.
You
we
just
got this-
linked
this
a
like-
picture of Matanui from BioWiki. What are you even doing?
I just Google. Sorry. I pissed off
Friggin'
Swert.
traitor.
I pissed off that God Swert is gonna smite me.
Picked the wrong team there, didn't you?
You're not allowed to
Yeah.
use anything other than Biosector 1.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I swear. Please forgive me. Please don't not make Ninja Sector.
Anyway, next one. Do you think Construction will ever return, and what form would it
No.
take if it does?
A gravestone.
Marvel
No,
will come back as the Avengers. They tried Star
I
Wars and
talked a little
sucked.
bit. But they already did the Avengers, man.
Oh
Come on.
no, they did. You can't blame me for not remembering that crap.
They were great, dude. What are you
We'll
talking
get
about?
Steven Universe instead. CCBS Steven Universe.
I'd buy it.
And it'll look as bad as you're imagining it to. Yeah.
Oh man.
They were particularly dreadful because they all had this power armor
So,
and like the Captain America figure. Anyway, to answer the question.
well, so which one?
No, I don't
which
think
one do you
it's
think
good.
looks worse? Marvel CCBS or Ben 10 CCBS?
Oh, Ben 10. Well, actually, I don't know because Ben 10.
Marvel.
Ben 10 was horribly built because they were so simplistic, but they looked like the characters. I can't say they didn't, but like with Captain America, his friggin' like quadruple chin and the power armor that doesn't look like any Captain America I've seen. But like that Ben 10 creature, Big Chill, I look up and I Google Big Chill Ben 10, and like this is the first thing that comes up, and I think he actually made the transition pretty
Yeah, he
what's
does
the,
look like
what's the
Big
big
Chill.
brown one with the pink nipple spikes? That's one, right? I've never seen
Yeah.
Ben 10, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will give them that. Like, for as simplistic as they were, they are like accurate.
From the front, kind
Yes.
of.
I've seen mocks that use the pieces and make them work.
Oh, of
really
course. Totally. People
And they
can do
are like
crazy
exclusive
things.
pieces too.
Totally.
Mhm.
Like that color right there, the pink nipple guy, there's like no, that pink color exists nowhere else.
There is no other pink nipples in Lego's repertoire
Nope.
until they do.
Anyway.
Until they make a Mega Man X line.
Green
To answer
boobs.
the question, no, I think construction did. I talked about this a bit on the Eljay Johnson show. If you want me to ramble for like an hour and a half on why it's not going to come back, you can go check that out. But
Mhm.
essentially, I think Lego's not going to invest anymore in it. I think they've, especially with how like they just released their profit margins and like they're underperforming, they're downsizing. The Lego Batman movie underperformed. The Lego Ninjago movie underperformed. Lego sales
And
underperformed.
what a lot of people
They're not
don't
gonna
seem
take any
to
risks.
figure out is that everything they kind of do is plan out ahead of time based on how much reward they expect to get. That kind of plays
Yep.
out in the present budget, what kind of returns they expect in the future, right? And G2 just
Exactly.
flopped like a bastard.
Okay. Now,
Imagine how many
hang on.
millions must have went into the molds and all these different things, all the legal stuff and the designers, just all the different stuff for it it probably didn't even break even.
Can I
gotta be
also
honest.
say you're forgetting another theme that was put out during this last fiscal year of 2017,
Mexo Knights, right?
and that was the Star Wars CCBS.
Oh,
Indeed, and those are apparently gone as well.
Good.
They canceled the two
Good.
upcoming sets.
In other words,
If rumors are to be believed.
it's not that they can't necessarily bring Bionicle back or they won't bring Bionicle back. It's that at this point, financially speaking, I don't think they can afford to bring anything else back either. Think
Yeah,
about it.
they're-
I don't blame them
Which
for
is
being
why
apprehensive
everyone
about it
wants
either.
2019, obviously.
Like I was
Yeah.
gonna double down on the stuff that is a surefire thing in the next couple of years until they go back in an upward trajectory. Maybe then, if they want to take risks, because they have invested a lot of money into the CCBS system.
Well, the way companies
It's a
operate
lot of-
now, because they're so competitive globally, they're going to look at the most recent failure and they're just going to go with that and say,
Maybe.
nah, screw it, we're not going to try that again.
I think you're totally right.
In my opinion, was the fact that honestly, it had nothing to do with necessarily the product they're releasing or the license they're releasing. It's the cost associated. I did the math one day just because I could.
Look at you.
A 2016 Tahoe Uniter cost $10 less than, who did I say it was? I think it was Django that I compared it to. Or is it Boba? No, the latest Boba. The one that just
Mhm.
Wow.
and it had slightly less parts or more parts. The Tahoe had slightly more parts than this Boba Fett did. I could be wrong. It was like 5 weeks ago I looked this up,
Yeah, I mean, fair
You
enough.
did it for the podcast.
and it was 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just cannot see. While I do agree, I think construction is going to be done for the foreseeable future. I am hesitant to say they'll never bring it back, simply because that's a lot of pieces to just throw away. They've started integrating CCBS in some ways into like mechs and stuff.
I hope we see a new
system.
system that's kind of like a sort of takeoff from CCBS and Mixels that's scaled down, but there's a lot more parts and a lower cost too. That would be
I
nice.
want an animal-themed CCBS line.
I want an animal-themed Technic line. That's what I want. More Rahi kind of stuff.
Right. Actually, what I said, and I'm suggesting this to Meso earlier.
Yeah.
I would love to have a CCBS Exoforce, similar to what they were doing with the Hero Factory, like the last line that they were doing.
Invasion from below.
Yeah. Exactly. Where you would have an actual minifigure put into a CCBS build. And that would introduce a lot of interesting things, especially if they make it with an actual like studs for the legs to pop into the torso. Because you could take that and make actual like bigger mechs, better mechs, combine it with all the Bionicle, the Hero Factory, other CCS parts. I can think of a lot of really interesting things to do with that idea.
For sure.
Mhm.
But it all depends on
Oh,
whether or
man.
not they would ever want to do something with CCBS. And I suggest Exoforce because that's what everybody who's a Lego fan would associate with. But you could easily put that under, say, the Ninjago banner at this point.
Whatever they do with CCBS in the future, for it to be successful, it has to have a hook. That hook is minifigures.
Right.
So they've got to figure out
And
some way to
Specifically,
integrate that.
better minifigures than what we got in the Invasion from Below.
Actual minifigures.
Exactly.
Like, say what you will about our Bionicle project. You can hate its guts for everything we've done, but we've shown you can make Bionicle-esque figures in regular minifigure styles. You don't need to
Don't
do
be
the whole
wrong there. What you
stuff.
guys were doing
Yeah.
was a great idea, and I would love to have seen Lego pursue such an idea. I think what really killed it, and this is my personal opinion, is so much of the lore had been shifted over to a part where not everybody recognizes this product anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, that's totally fair. I get it. But like, yeah,
and
just
plus,
talking
it
about
was
the
starting to
minifigure thing.
become less about a community project and more about and I know you've addressed this before somewhat, it became a corporate project in its own right. Does that make sense?
I mean, sure. That's another discussion entirely, I guess. I'm not going to defend
Yeah.
our Bionicle thing.
Oh, you know what would make? Well, you know what would bring Bionicle and make it profitable again
Go on.
is if they brought on Michael Bay to make
Okay,
a ton
next
of really
question.
shitty movies
Okay,
that they'll
next
only sell in
question.
China.
Okay, next
China.
question.
China.
Okay, next
Thoughts on how to revive BioTube? I assume he means Bio.
Bionicle YouTube community.
How would you revive BioTube? Well, I mean, like, not to bash on BioTube. Every community is cool, and every community has the same kind of things. But I mean, essentially, BioTube, it's twofold. When you think about it, there's stop motions, and there's mock showcases. That's essentially the bulk of the Bionicle YouTube community. So how to revive it? Do more stop motions. Do mocks. Like, that's all you need to generate activity. People will catch on if it's interesting because there are Bionicle fans in the YouTube sphere. Just give them content to like, and they'll go check it out and watch. Just do your creative stuff, but post it, even if it's not great. Even if you don't think it's good enough to share. Even if you're not confident in your talent, do it. And you know, some people might be jerks to you, but some people might give you cool feedback, and you can build on that and keep getting better. And then that's how you get the content going that Bionicle fans like.
Mhm.
So that's really all you need to save any place.
Mm-hmm.
Just activity.
Well, okay. Next question.
Next question is, what species is your self mock?
Oh God, no!
Vortex.
I can't get
Vortex.
into that story. I cannot get into that story. It would literally take hours.
Oh my god.
I was a ridiculous kid, and I came up with the most convoluted story for Mesonak. He is not a species. Here, I'll give you the short version.
So it's
He is
bleak.
a science experiment, essentially, to revive the dead soul of this dude named Mesonak. who like he essentially became this like entity that didn't have a body, and he took over like the skeleton just to like walk around.
Oh,
And then like the skeleton
So-
got armor, and there you go.
So did you come up with this massive convolution just skeleton?
I mean, no, the skeleton thing kind of came after.
Oh, okay. Just
That's just how it started. I guess it's not true, because it did start with the Paraka skull.
exactly. That's what I meant.
guess you're right.
Skull.
I guess
Yeah.
you're right. That it was a justification for how he could be a skeleton in a Bionicle universe,
Skeleton.
essentially.
Spooky.
So he's this like demon spirit science experiment thing that just possesses a dead body and walks around with armor.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's me. Why does he have gold? That's a whole other situation that I'm not gonna get into.
Okay.
All right. Last
Well,
question. Is pee stored in the balls?
yes.
I'll go with Ace.
Yeah.
Sure.
Trust me.
Trust him. Trust him.
All right.
Oh my god.
So it is known pee is stored in the balls.
Unbelievable.
Oh man.
All right.
Well, so what a banger of question. Thank you so much for being here. It was so
I think we
fun.
can keep it going for another hour, dude.
Sure. Let's make it let's keep Meso up for 50 hour special.
Oh, you want to do
I-
that 24-hour
want to-
stream?
I want to literally die. I've been awake for 39 hours now. Wait, no, not 39. Sorry,
Let's keep it going.
Yo. No, that's what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna keep we gotta have a full 72-hour stream, not going to sleep.
No.
Not right now, but when we do the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Oh fuck!
I was kind of hoping right now because me and Meso haven't had a whole lot of talk about this this podcast.
You're right.
I've got an exam tomorrow, so I can't really do anything like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna like die immediately after this, but we should do this again. I want to like hang. I want to just have fun and chill.
True.
And like, yeah, not defend corporate business decisions for 2 hours. Not that that wasn't fun, but I can talk about other stuff too. You know?
Are you sure? Literally, all you have failing toy channel.
You're swinging your dick around in a failing toy channel.
So before we go,
facepalming.
before we go, you want to plug your stuff?
I mean, you can check us out at the TTV channel on YouTube. That's what we do. My own personal Twitter, Matt Mesonak. I retweet everybody. I post like memes and stuff. And TTV message boards, board.ttv channel. There you go. If you don't hate our guts, or if you formerly hated our guts and are willing to give us a chance in this new era, thanks. Thanks a lot. We look forward to the stuff we're.
How dare you not plug your Bionicle music videos?
Oh, you're right. My epic music videos. I just released a new one, actually.
Holy shit!
And by new, I mean it was recorded 7 years ago, and it is a Dead Island Hero Factory crossover music video for Witch Doctor titled "Who Do You Voodoo, Witch?"
Oh my Christ!
And it's glorious, I think.
Oh my god!
But that's me, TTV Mesonak on YouTube. Check out my epic music vids. I think I'm gonna do one for CryoShell feed soon. Super edgy Bionicle music video.
Hell yeah! Well, okay, and now it's time to plug our stuff. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter. Please subscribe on YouTube. We need the views. You can follow us on Instagram as well. And you can, join Bionicle Mask Posting, like the Bionicle Mask Posting page. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Check out Ace over at Biog, Discord server at Biog. You don't get to promote yourself, but you're on again.
I barely had any chance to talk this time because I just don't know where to interject because you guys are way more familiar with this TTV stuff than me. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for listening. Good night.
See you later.
Good night, everybody.